Okay, it is time to start today's not sort of video because I started this as if it was going to be sort of video, but it's wrong. It's not. This is the A to Z mini rework for Brand, The Burning Vengeance. So with Brand, there's a decent amount I have on him. I don't have a ton. I don't have like a full rework like the last guy Blitzcrank, but I don't have like nothing at all. That's for sure. So, first things first, his damage is magic. He does no damage, basic attacks, like, at all. There's no point of even doing them. His style is 100% damage. That makes plenty of sense. His difficulty is 1. I don't know why this says 2. Because it's not. It is 1. Anyone can play this man with half a brain and still work. A chimp could play this champion to its fullest degree. You literally just need to hit all of your buttons. Nothing more. Nothing less. There you go. So I will 100% agree with this in its entirety. His damage is 3 and his crowd control is 2. He does only have a singular stun. I don't like it because it's basically point and click. It's not, but it sort of is. But I both agree with it and disagree with it at the same time. His defenses are very little, but 9 out of 10 times the Brand will build full health tank like Leandries and Roa, and you just won't be able to kill him. But yet he'll kill your entire team. It's fun. His crowd control. His mobility is 0. He does not move very fast, and he has no movement abilities. I don't know why, I just can't speak. His utility is also 0. He doesn't do much for the team besides kill them. Okay, once a tribesman of the Icy Freljord named Kagan Rodhay. Yep, Rodhay. The creature known as Brand is a lesson in the temptation of greater power. Seeking one of the legendary world runes, Keegan betrayed his companions and seized it for himself. And in an instant, the man was no more. His soul burned away, his body a vessel of living flame. Brand now roams Valran in search of other runes, swearing revenge for wrongs he could never possibly have suffered in a dozen mortal lifetimes. What? That makes no sense. So he sought power for himself and got himself turned into a giant, basically the embodiment of a flame. And then seeks revenge on the wrongs done against him when it was really just his own wrongs? That makes no sense. His main enemy has to be Rise, because Rise wants all the runes just to keep him safe. Sort of. Because it's the classic, I want to keep everything safe by gathering it together, even though when they're gathered together, it's supposed to bring about the end of the world. That's nice. So, I guess that means that Rise wants to kill Brand and take the rune from him. Probably. Okay, let's move over to the abilities. Okay, so first off, we're going to start with Blaze. Brand's spell light his target ablaze, dealing 40% of their maximum health and maximum damage over 4 seconds. Stupid. Stacking up to 3 times. If Brand wow, that's 16%. Okay, no, that's only 12%. Bad math. That's still 12% of max HP. If Brand kills an enemy while it is ablaze, he regains mana. When a blaze reaches max stacks on a champion or a large monster, it becomes unstable. It detonates in 2 seconds, applying spell effects and dealing massive damage in an area around the victim. Okay, I'm going to go over the abilities before I get on that topic. Seer. Brand launches a ball of fire forward that deals magic damage. If the target is ablaze, Seer will stun the target for 1.5 seconds. Pillar of Flame. After a short delay, Brand creates a pillar of flame at a target area, dealing magic damage to enemy units within the area. Units that are ablaze take an additional 25% damage. Conflagration? Conflagration. Brand conjures a powerful blaze at his target, dealing magic damage to the enemy. If the target is ablaze, conflagration spreads to nearby enemies. Pyroclasm. Why not just call it pyromancy? Brand unleashes a devastating torrent of fire, dealing magic damage each time it's bounce. Damage each time it bounces. There we go. Up to 5 bounces. Bounces prioritize stacking Blaze to max on champions. If a target is a Blaze, Pyroclasm will briefly slow them. Okay. So, before the Mage update, like, a very long time ago, I forget when, honestly, his passive used to be a Blaze effect that each of his abilities have. Before, his passive was like his Q will stun if they're ablaze, and blah, 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 blah. But now, it's just moved each of his abilities, which honestly does make more sense. And, now he has this new passive, and it's stupid. To be truthful, I think most of his kit is pretty stupid. One, as I will always say, I hate point-and-click abilities. So his Conflagration, I hate. I think it's a stupid ability. Just, in general, just like being able to do that. So his Q, which is the only CC he has if they're already ablaze, it's very easy to stun because all you have to do is just literally point and click E them and then shoot your Q, just like that. That stuns them. It even shows you the combo right there. Or just land your W, which is insanely difficult to dodge. It has like the smallest time frame for such a large AoE. I think it's pretty close to Xerath's time frame, but I think Xerath is like a bit different. I think Xerath does more damage, but isn't as far ranged, and I think it has a tiny bit longer of a before it lands, but I could be wrong about that last bit. Okay, so as you see right there, that's what I really hate about Blaze. One, I don't think a passive that literally lets you land any of your abilities do damage over time. Like, I'm fine with the overtime damage. I'm not fine with the damage is literally 4% of your max AP, stacking 3 times to 12%. Plus, it gives a bonus to stack 3 times. Like, it's already strong enough. It doesn't need to be any stronger. It does not need to have this little AoE around it, which causes people to explode. And not only that, but it does cause spell effects, meaning that if you have other champions around you, and like you're set ablaze, and that explosion happens, that will end, like they have 2 ablaze stacks themselves, it will recast ablaze on them if the cooldown is done. Or not like the cooldown, like the, yeah, it will put the giant AoE of ablaze on them. Or not, I don't know why I keep saying ablaze, but it will keep putting the giant AoE of blaze on them, which I think is just completely ridiculous. Like, I'm fine with it doing spell effects, but I don't think that it should exist in the first place, let alone to do the spell effects. Because it literally just means land all of your abilities. If one of them's a point and click, I will admit 2 of them are skill shots. That's just, I do agree with that bit. But I think that the fact that one of them, from being like, one of them as a skill shot is just so insanely easy to land. His Q travels so fast. It's very difficult to dodge his abilities in the first place. Plus, his ult jumps around a ton. Like, that put a blaze on him alone, because it went on him first, jumped to a minion, jumped back to him, jumped to a minion, then jumped back to him. That put blaze on him alone. And the reason I think that it's stupid that, like, his passive does so much of your HP is because that doesn't even put into account the fact that you have abilities to worry about. Like, each of his abilities will do damage, and then there's the damage over time from his passive. Plus the explosion that happens afterward. It's so difficult to survive a full, like, confrontation from him. Like, even if it's just his base QW and E. Like, if he does get his ult on you, I can understand him being able to kill you. Because he is a mage, he's supposed to do damage. But I think that the damage over time is just too much. Especially when there are items like Liandry's out there that make it even more. Like, Liandry's Torment puts a burn onto enemies that are hit by it. From, like, any of your spells. and I like agree that I agree that it should be an item, but like when you have champions like this, you need to put something in place to counteract it. So what I think League of Legends needs to do in general is they just don't have enough like counterplay to certain things. They don't have enough counterplay in general. So what I would do with Brand is honestly I would keep most of his kit the same. So I would kind of move his E to his passive, which this is going to sound a bit weird, is basically I would just move that it sets the person on fire, and I would kind of revert his passive to what it used to be, meaning that an auto attack or any ability landing at all would cause the target to set on fire. The damage would do set amount, would do a specific amount of time over how many seconds, doing a specific amount of damage. It would not do a percentage of max HP, because that is stupid. Like, percentage max HP abilities are pretty big problem. I understand that it helps take down tanks, but the main idea is to take down the little guys first and then take out a tank. Now, I understand that we are in a tank meta, and probably the big reason that they did this is so that these guys are capable of killing tanks because, you know, the tank meta. But I think that they went about it in the wrong way. I don't think that tanks, or that because this also puts a bad effect on to like the little guys, to the ADCs, making them too strong. Now, I agree that he should be killing ADCs really fast, but I disagree that he should have like damage over time with such an extent, especially when it's doing a percent of your max HP. Plus, you have to worry about the damage that his actual abilities are doing. It's just too much. Like, he is such a lane bully, and he doesn't even have the problem of like most mages, or not most mages, where he has a good early game and a good late game too. Most mages will have a bad early game and a good late game, because that's just the way mages work. Except for assassin mages, which most assassin mages, unless you build them full health, like Brand, will have an easy late game, or an easy early game, but a hard late game. But because you're capable of building items like Liandry's and Roa on Brand, it makes him that much more difficult to deal with because he's that much more tanky. And another problem is that they just changed Morellonomicon to give even more HP. So you can become insanely tanky for building mage items now, and I think it's a bit stupid. I don't think mages need to be tanks. So, as I said, we'll just change back to his old passive. Well, sort of. Where basically, we're hitting anything with any ability will cause them to set on fire. Whether it's an auto attack or an ability also. So even an auto attack can do it. Your abilities will still have a special effect for like hitting the people that are already on fire. So your passive, as I said, will now change to your E, where if you auto attack in a champion, you will put a blaze stack on them, or if you hit them with any ability. If you auto attack them and they have a blaze already on them, then it will cause, I don't know why I keep saying a blaze. It will cause blaze to then spread to nearby enemies. His Q, I will honestly keep the same. I will not change anything about it. I do really hate the fact that you are capable of doing that, where you're capable of stunning the enemy from throwing out your Q. I think that it is a bit annoying, but I do agree that every type of whatever the heck it's called mage should have some sort of CC, so I will agree with it. His W, Pillar of Flame. This ability also I will not change too much, except for the fact that I will not have it do 25% additional damage, and it will be closer to more like 10 to 15 if you're already ablaze. Or we could substitute what used to be on his passive, or what used to be like the passive max HP damage, to his W. And make it so that if someone is already ablaze, that, whatever the heck it's called, from using this ability, it will cause the burn to do a percentage of max HP. And that really be it. But then it won't do any additional damage. His E. Because we're basically moving his E to his passive, where anything will set a guy on fire, and then hitting someone that is already ablaze will cause the fire to scatter. With like his current passive, we would have to kind of give him something to like make up for that. Now, because he won't have such an easy way of applying onto a target, he'd probably have to get either closer to the target or do something along those lines to apply the stack with his WQ or his alt. So I would probably make his E something that will help him in like the health department, but in a different way, or in like the resistance department. So I would probably do something that's like, from activating his E, he gains a small amount of health. This health will be based off of his ability power and not from his max HP. The reason this is it will encourage people to, basically it's attempting to encourage people to not build Roa, and so that it doesn't have like as big of an effect. Now, I do think that like Roa should be built on him, but I disagree with like Roa and everything working so well with his kit, which causes him to be like the monster that I would say he is currently, or like the bully. And so yeah, I would probably just like make it so that he gains health based off of his ability power, and that he'll gain like a small like AoE around him. So basically he'll gain like a Sunfire Cape passive, where he'll just gain a small AoE around him that just does damage, and that won't be based off of his max HP. Originally I was going to save that because it would work well with his Q, but then as I said, it will just encourage people to build the Roa and everything. And that will just be also based off of his ability power, but it will have like a very bad scaling. That way it doesn't do too much damage. Or maybe we can do that. We can turn that also, his E, into whatever the heck it's called, into a percentage health thing, because most of the time tanks are melee champions, and because of that they'll be on top of him. So because of that, his E AoE damage will do more of their max HP, helping with tanks, but not helping with the ADCs at all, because they'll be, whatever the heck it's called, they'll be too far away to get hit by the effect. Now, the only problem is the Ablaze, or the Blaze passive. Because he's putting this ability on himself, he's not really adding Blaze to anything. So the way I would probably make it is that his E, like the AoE fire around him, puts Blaze onto enemies. So this will also help more with tanks. And that basically, and if it hits an enemy that like if it hits an enemy that is already blazed, then it will cause whatever. It will just like, it'll give him more HP, or it'll just do bonus damage. Oh yeah, that can be it. It can do like the additional 25% damage that his W currently has. That way, if you throw your Q at an enemy, or you auto attack them, and it causes them to go blaze, they then charge at you, and then you activate your E, causing the AoE fire around you. This will be doing a percentage of their max HP, plus it'll be doing an additional 25% damage. Then you can use your W on top of you, on top of the tank, and that will do a percentage of their max HP as well, causing you to do even more damage to tanks, but still making you be able to do high damage to mages with your Q and W. So I'd probably change the scaling. Okay, and his alt, I'd keep it the same. I hate the ability but I'd keep it the same because really the only reason I hate it is the fact that it makes it really easy to put blaze on enemies, and I'd really hate that AoE explosion around you, around them. So because of that, I would keep his alt the same because it's really not the alt that I hate, it's really the passive with the alt that I hate. And since I'm getting rid of the passive, it would remove the main reason that I hate the alt. So because of that, like his alt, as I say, can stay the same, but as I was going to say, I would change his kit in the also in the sense of his scalings. I would make his scalings worse early on in like the base damage, and then better late game. The reason I would do this is it would help make him less of a lane bully. Now, yes, I will admit that he is a bit of an assassin, and that's what he's supposed to be, but when you build him full health tank with a lot of ability power, and he's capable of assassinating while being a sustainable person, it's a bit of a problem. Like, I know that's how I build Veigar, but Veigar, nonetheless, is really capable of getting killed pretty easily, even with the max HP, and I agree that, like, even Veigar should be take down a peg so that he can't just build a ton of health and still make him just as good. Which I do have, like, ideas for that as well once I get all the way down to the Vs, which was going to take a while. So we're going to do a real quick recap. God, I can't speak. His passive should basically become his current E, or auto attacks and all abilities put on Blaze that does a small amount of damage over time that is not based off of max HP. It is just based off of like your AP, and it'll just do a set amount of damage over time based off of his level. So actually, yeah, it will just do a set amount of damage based off of level, so it won't even build off of ability power, just not to make it too strong. His Q will be the same. His W will change to do a percentage of max HP if the person's already ablaze. His E will become some sort of thing that gives him health and also puts an AoE fire around him. That will do max HP and can do an additional damage if they already have blaze on them. Or it'll increase his HP, not his max HP. His alt will stay the exact same. And his Q and W should get lower scalings, so that they're worse early on but better late game, this making him more of a stronger person late game, and just trying to make it so that like you want to bully him early instead of him bully you, which is one of the things that allows him to get so strong late game. And also this will help him become less of a support bully. It's one of the big things I really hate is whenever you see Brand support and he's just shredding you, but yet he has no ability power items, or he has like the support AP item. Okay, now skins. Brand doesn't have a ton, honestly, for how old he is. I'm kind of surprised. But he does have a decent amount. Sort of. Okay, so Apocalyptic Brand. I agree with it, sort of, but I also disagree with it. I think that it should be, like, more... honestly, I don't even know myself. I think it should be more like vats on his body that hold, like, gas or something along those lines. And that he should still have, like, the fire body for the mainframe. But, I mean, like, there should be, like, a tank or, like, little packs on his back that hold, like, gasoline or something like that. It just... I don't know why. I just think that he should look more ruggish and outlandish and not as much of like just like a hazmat. Vandal Brand. I love this skin. I think it just looks cool, and that it in general is just a really cool skin, and I wouldn't change anything about it because of those reasons. Cryocore Brand. I like it because it's like the opposite of fire and everything, but I wish they went more ice in general, where like his abilities, I think his abilities do have like a somewhat ice effect on them, but I wish they just had like a bigger icy effect, and that he in general didn't look like he was just flaming ice, and that he just actually looked like he had like snow coming off of his hands or something like that, and they went like full opposite instead of only partially. Zombie Brand, I like. I think it's a bit stupid, but at the same time, I like it. I think whenever he, like, wobbles around in lane, like, his walk animation just looks really cool, or sort of stupid in a way, but I like it. In essence, I do like it. Spirit Firebrand, I think, looks really cool, but I think it honestly needs to have, like, more on him, because it's basically just a blue firebrand that has a different mask. I think that, like, his body itself needs to have, like, more charms and other things on it that, like, his face kind of has. Like, more metal pieces here and there, and, like, these, whatever the heck, like, the tooth / claw looking thing can be in, like, other parts of his body. Like, just put other metal parts on the rest of his body is basically what I'm asking. Battle Boss brand, I love. I love the Battle Boss skins in general. I really like how his hands are like these Inferno type things. I think that the animation looks pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about it is, like, the actual jaw. I myself really don't fully know why I hate it. I don't like the really big, like, laughing aspect of it. I wish he was more serious. And I guess that's really the only complaint when I have towards it, is I wish he was more serious and less psychopath. Like, he can still be, like, half psychopath, but I think he should be, like, the scary type of psychopath over the actual psychopath type thing, where he has, like, the creepy smile with, like, the creepy eyes over the I'm completely insane. And also, I think that it should go back to the original colors of red. Like, I think that he should be more fire-based instead of, like, the blue. I think that he should have, like, red particle effects and look red in general over the blue, just because, honestly, of just reasons. I just think it would look better in general if he was just a lot more red. And that's really it. I don't really think he should be his psychopath self, and I don't think that his, whatever the heck it's called, his fire should be blue. I think it should be red instead. Now, I will say I have a skin to add, though, which I'm going to give an example of by clicking on another channel here. I think that he should get a hazmat skin, like the Heimerdinger, like this type of hazmat, where he has, like, the green flame, and you can see, like, a fire coming out of, like, the top of his head. I think that that would look really cool on brand. There. I think that it would definitely look really cool like brand, where he can have, like, this type of mask thing, not, like, in this sense of it where it's, like, sideways, and more of, like, the Heimerdinger sense, where it actually looks like a regular gas mask instead of this weird looking thing. And I think that it should have, like, the green fire, like, from this. So he'll just have, like, the body of this, but, like, more hazmat with, like, the toxic symbols on him, and then they'll have, like, his hands will be, like, the hazmat suit will look, like, torn around his hands, and you'll just see, like, the fire coming out of the hazmat suit, plus his, like, hands in general will be on fire. The top of his suit will be, like, burnt to a crisp, where, like, it'll kind of be like this, where his, like, the top of his head is red, but it'll have, like, the hazmat little, like, pieces of cloth all around here, and it will just show them, like, charred black and just kind of, like, waving in the wind because his head's on fire and all. And then, like, the rest of his body will just look like a general hazmat suit with, like, little tubes and everything, and maybe, like, little circles so you can see inside, and then there'll be, like, that toxic symbol here and there. I think the hazmat in general would look pretty cool on brand. And that is my A to Z mini rework. Basically a mini rework for brand. Thank you all very much for watching. If you have any, like, criticisms, constructive criticism, or anything to add about, like, what you think would do well with him, what you think that I said that wouldn't do well, if you like him the way he is, why you like him the way he is, just, like, anything that you want us to talk about with brand or with League, I guess. And if you happen to know anyone from Riot Games, or like the guy that made Brand originally, or any one of the people that worked on Brand. If you happen to know that, or know them either personally, or you're just like you're friends with them through social media, hit them up. Tell me, hey, this is a Groot guy, or tell them, hey, this is a Groot guy. He came up with a pretty decent rework, man. Like, check it out. Like, see if you like it. See if you can change Brand into that, so on and so forth. Maybe contact this Groot guy to get any other ideas from him. That would be very much appreciated for me if anyone could do that. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I hope to please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you all next time, and I bid you all adieu. Goodbye.